turn the camera on for this one. Ah, man, I was finna get a new camera. Just outdoors. Alright, let's see.
Let's get started with our first news. Daniel Cormier believes Islam Makhachev would defeat Ilia Topuria. On his YouTube channel, DC.
Nah, I don't think so. We've all seen Islam get sparked unconscious, so I don't think Islam beats Ilia. Ilia would do the same thing to Islam. Uh, yeah, nah.
Shared his full reaction to Topuria's jaw-dropping knockout win over Charles Oliveira, and he didn't hold back on his praise. The kid's very impressive, DC said. He's only 28 years old. He's only had 9 UFC.
Yeah, Ilia is young, 28. If Islam was 28 and Ilia was 28 years old, Ilia still wins because we've seen a younger Islam get sparked unconscious. He literally got KO'd. And against, I forgot who it was. It was somebody. But yeah.
Fights, and he's already a double champion. He's the real deal. He is a real life star, man. He really is. DC went on to emphasize how special Topuria is. I think we're going to be watching this kid for a long time, as long as he stays the course. And right now, he seems to be doing all the right things. As long as he continues like this, I believe he's going to be very valuable and consistently in the championship picture, if not the actual champion at 155 for a long time. But despite the hype around Ilia, DC gave an honest assessment when it comes to a potential showdown with Islam Makhachev. I think Islam gets by him, he admitted, but I also think Islam would be one of the greatest challenges Ilia would ever face because they're both just next level. DC continued, right now, Ilia seems to be separating himself from everybody. What he's doing in there, it's just unbelievable. He's evolving quickly, he's confident, and he's handling the pressure like a veteran. He also gave his thoughts on a possible matchup between Ilia Topuria and Paddy Pimblett. I believe that's a great fight, DC said, but Paddy will absolutely have to use his size against Ilia if he wants any chance at all. He's not as good a striker as Charles, and you saw what Ilia did to Charles. That wasn't even close. But you've got to be very careful on the Paddy side, he added. You have to be doing the right things, and you've got to try to get him down. But let's be honest, Charles didn't have much success taking him down either. DC didn't shy away from giving Ilia all the credit in the world, while still pointing out that Islam poses an incredible challenge. It's that type of honest and nuanced analysis fans appreciate. He clearly respects Topuria's skill, power, and mindset, but he also recognizes Islam's grappling, pressure, and elite experience. If this fight ever gets made, it's one that would have the entire MMA world watching. Moving on to our second news, Chael Sonnen believes the UFC made a massive mistake by not putting the BMF title on the line when Ilia Topuria fought Max Holloway. In classic Chael fashion, he didn't hold anything back. He was straight to the point and absolutely fired up. According to him, Topuria should be walking around with not one, not two, but 3 belts right now, Chael said. There was a mistake made, and the mistake was putting Ilia in there with the reigning BMF champion and not putting up the belt. That son of a should have 3 belts right now, and if he did, we'd be having a totally different conversation today. He continued, the marketing, the posters, everything would have been completely different if that belt was on the line, but we've got to follow it to the T. The belt is either up or it's not. That's the rule. That's how this works. Chael's frustration didn't stop there. He went deeper, saying, this is absolutely unbelievable. Ilia didn't just beat 3 good fighters, he beat 3 killers. And the way people talk about Max, listen, everybody likes Max, everybody respects Max. We know how great he was, but here's the thing. He wasn't just another opponent. He was the reigning BMF champion. He then painted the...
Yep, and he fought in multiple divisions too. Alex fought in multiple divisions, Max fought in multiple divisions. Charles, didn't Charles beat, who did Charles beat? He beat Justin, and, I think he beat Max too. I want to say he beat Max. Let's see. Oh, they did fight. Max fought Charles Oliveira. Who won though? Doesn't say. I don't remember who won this fight. Charles the Bronx featherweight bout method KO TKO round. Holloway versus. Oh, Max knocked him out. Round one. Round one time. 1 minute. Oh wow, that's crazy. I did not even know that. So here you go, guys. For everybody saying that I provide no value, here you go. Max knocks out Charles. Round one, under 2 minutes. Same thing that Taporia did. Knocked him out, got him out of there. And then he goes on and he proceeds to knock out a prime, or not a prime, but he knocks out Max Holloway. And then Max Holloway's a really good fighter. And he controlled the fight longer than Charles controlled the fight. Total strikes. Look at Charles' strikes. He throws 17 and he lands under a third of those strikes. Because 3 times 5 is 15 and he lands like under 1/3, like a fourth of those strikes. Not even a fourth, a third, and then add like a quarter to the third or something. Or another, add a third, like I don't even know, but he did not land a third of those strikes. Max landed half of the strikes thrown. Look at that. 20. Look at that. It says it right there. It says 29%. A third is like 33%. He landed under a third. I just realized that. I did not notice that. And then Max Holloway's landing like 50% of his strikes. 14 times 2, 28. He's landing 50%. Is that the right math? Shouldn't it be like 49 point something percent? Bruh.
The picture clearly. Ilia should have had 2 belts over his shoulders and one around his.
It should have two. The BMF, the featherweight.
His waist. That
What
would have
is
told
it?
the story right. That would have elevated the moment, and I really do think that was
Lightweight,
a
featherweight.
big error on the UFC's part. Chael then added some optimism, saying, "I'm glad that error won't be made the next time Max fights. I'm glad they're making him put the belt up. If you have a belt, it's gotta be on the line. That's how it should always be." Chael's perspective hits hard because it calls out the business side of the sport that fans don't always see. He makes a compelling argument, and honestly, he's not wrong. Just imagine Ilia holding 3 belts. The marketing machine would have gone wild. The posters, the headlines, the history books, all of it would have looked different. The UFC missed a huge opportunity to add another layer to Topuria's legend and to make that event even bigger. Now the question is, will they make sure this mistake never happens again? One thing's for sure, fans will absolutely hold them accountable. Moving on to another news.
Yes, bro. He should have put the BMF on a line because the featherweight title was on the line. Was it? What the heck? Shake the MMA or apart from he defended the UFC featherweight title to knock out Max in like the 3rd or 4th round. So they, bro, what the So yeah, bantamweight, featherweight. Oh, he fought in the bantamweight. 2018. No, yeah, he's pound for pound. He fought bantamweight, featherweight. What? He's definitely pound for pound king.
Paddy Pimblett absolutely slammed Charles Oliveira's embarrassing performance against Ilia Topuria over the weekend, speaking openly on the Versus podcast.
Crazy.
Paddy didn't hold back at all. While he made it clear that he likes Charles and respects what he's done in the sport, he was completely shocked by some of the decisions Charles made during the fight. In fact, he went so far as to call the performance flat out embarrassing. Paddy said, "I really like Charles, but what the fuck was that game plan, lad? You know what I mean? Stand in front of him and just get punched in the face?" He continued, "In the first 20 seconds, he did a little bit. Take them leg kicks." And I was thinking, oh,
Yeah, take them leg kicks, bro.
But then Charles got hit.
Yeah, that's.
Started swinging with him. No defense, no footwork, just throwing bombs like it was a pub fight. He added even more details.
Oh my god.
When he was walking out, I turned to Graham and said, "He looks nervous." And then when Topuria walked out, he was smiling, all confident, just looked ready. I don't know what the vibe was with Charles, but something was off. Paddy went on. As I say, I'd love to know what their game plan was, because honestly, that was just, it was half embarrassing. What are you doing?
Yeah, that was embarrassing.
Swinging punches with a guy who's a top-class boxer and has serious power? He added, "It just blew my mind how could be in that moment. After everything, after 47 pro fights, he goes in there like an amateur. You've got to be smart, not just tough." Paddy's rant was honest and surprisingly analytical. He gave credit where he gave to Topuria, but he did not sugarcoat his criticism of Charles, and that's why fans appreciate him. He tells it exactly like it is. This wasn't just Paddy being Paddy. This was legit fight analysis, and many fans agreed with his take. Charles's decision to stand and trade with one of the cleanest and most powerful boxers in the division was nothing short of a tactical disaster. In hindsight, it looked foolish. At this level, being tough isn't enough. You've got to fight smart. Moving on to another news. Joe Rogan recently shared his thoughts on how Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev was the fight to make when it was still on the table earlier this year. And according to him, the UFC may have let a massive opportunity slip right through their fingers. Rogan reflected on what could have been. When Topuria officially vacated his featherweight title and turned his focus toward a massive showdown with Islam, the buzz around the was electric. The hype was real. The timing made perfect sense. And fans were all in. You had two champions, both dominant, both riding huge waves of momentum, and both with skill sets that clashed in a way that made this matchup incredibly compelling. It felt like everything was aligning, but instead of staying at lightweight to defend his title, Islam made the decision to move up to welterweight. Now, he's set to fight Jack Della Maddalena for the 170-pound belt. And in doing so, he officially vacated his 155 lowview championship. Speaking during the UFC 317 broadcast, Rogan couldn't help but bring it up. He turned to DC and said plainly, "I think Islam is the fight." And without hesitation, DC immediately agreed. Rogan then added, "If I were a matchmaker at the time, I would have picked up the phone and made that fight happen. No question." You could feel his frustration. It was a moment that was right, and somehow it slipped away. He even joked that maybe it came down to money, saying, "Is there a number we can do? What do you think, fight fans?" Then he posed the question that many are still asking. How interested would you be in Ilia versus Islam?
Bro.
Honestly, it's a fascinating stylistic clash. You've got Ilia's explosive knockout power, his crisp and technical boxing, his calm under pressure, up against Islam's elite grappling, relentless pressure, and world-class control. It's a classic striker versus grappler matchup, but at the absolute highest level. Unfortunately, Islam's move to welterweight took the steam out of that dream matchup. At least for now. Fans are left asking, what if? And you could tell Rogan was disappointed. He clearly felt like the UFC should have pulled the trigger when they had the chance. Maybe it happens one day, but for now, it remains one of those legendary what could have been fights in MMA history. Now let's move on to another news. According to Islam Makhachev's longtime coach Javier Mendez, Arman Tsarukyan is considered Ilia Topuria's biggest threat in the lightweight division, and he explained exactly why. Speaking in a detailed interview with Submission Radio, Mendez didn't hold back when analyzing how dangerous Arman could be for the undefeated double champion. He started by acknowledging that Justin Gaethje might give Ilia a few problems on the feet, but made it clear that in his opinion, Arman is the most dangerous matchup. "I see Justin Gaethje potentially giving him some problems," Mendez said, "but Arman Tsarukyan would be the one who, in my opinion, might give him the most problems because Armin's not going to stand with him. Armin's going to make it a grappling war. He went on to describe the fight in deeper terms. It's going to be a war of attrition. Can Ilia survive the continuous ground attack that Armin's going to put on him? That would be the test. Can he do that? I don't know. Maybe he can. That uncertainty, even coming from one of the sport's most respected coaches, shows just how intriguing the matchup really is. Mendez was also quick to acknowledge Tapuria's high fight IQ and adaptability. He praised Ilia's last performance against Charles Oliveira, highlighting one key moment. Look what he did to Charles. Charles came in for the takedown. Ilia freaking switched it on him in midair. Very impressive. Still, when comparing Tapuria with Jack Della Maddalena as potential threats to Islam, Mendez leaned toward Jack as the tougher opponent.
Yeah,
For a very
Jack is
specific
tough.
reason. Jack is the tougher one, Mendez said. Number one, the size. Number two, he's good everywhere. If it was just boxing, then we don't have to worry as much because Jack's boxing is not as good as Tapuria's. But overall,
Yeah, no,
his
it's not.
kicking, his knees, his overall MMA game is
His
very
kicking, his
good.
knee.
Mendez's analysis was thoughtful, detailed, and honest. He clearly respects what Ilia brings to the table.
True, his kicking
Power,
is. Yeah.
composure, and technical mastery, but also knows that Armin's wrestling-heavy, suffocating style could be the key to neutralizing him. It's a fight that fans are buzzing about. Ilia has already proven he can handle high-level grapplers, but Armin is relentless, improving with every fight and would push Ilia in ways he hasn't experienced yet. That potential showdown would be a true test of who can impose their style under pressure, and that's what makes it such a must-watch matchup. Finally, let's move on to another news. Colby
Yeah,
Patty
he's
is
right.
back in the headlines, and this time he's called out Patty.
He calls out Patty. Isn't he like the number? Isn't he ranked number 7 or something? I don't even know what rank Kobe is.
For a potential fight during an interview with Matt and Evans.
Number 4 versus number 10.
Colby laid out where he stands in his career right now, and he made one thing crystal clear. He's focused on legacy fights. When asked whether he was planning to leave the UFC, Colby quickly shut it down. No, I'm not leaving the UFC, he said. I still have some unfinished business, but I want big fights. You know, high-level first ballot Hall of Famer type fights. Legacy fights. So if they're not able to do that, then yeah, I will transfer over. That statement alone made waves, but then came the big moment. When he was asked who he'd want to fight next, Colby didn't flinch. Yeah, I mean, I think the Paddy Pimblett fight's interesting. He's got a little bit of name right now, but only because he's got an English accent and a bowl cut. Otherwise, the guy's just unproven. When pressed further about whether he was targeting Paddy because of the size difference, Colby pushed back hard. No, he's actually bigger than me, he said. He's a weight bully. Yeah, he cuts a lot of weight. People don't realize that. This call-out is classic Colby. Brash, disrespectful, and absolutely entertaining. He knows exactly how to stir the pot and keep fans talking. And love him or hate him, you can't deny that Colby understands how to sell a fight. The fan base is split. Some people...
What? Who is this? Oh, that's Tony Ferguson.
Just for the chaos, the trash talk, the build-up.
Where's David at? There's David guy.
Others feel it's a mismatch.
Who's gonna carry the boats?
With Colby's wrestling and experience being too much for Paddy to handle at this stage. But that's what Colby does best. He inserts himself into conversations, creates headlines, and keeps himself relevant. Whether it's for a title shot or a wild matchup like this, he makes sure that people are talking about him. With you...
Alright, yeah, that's it. Camera should be good. Everything's dark. This is way too bright. Still way too bright. Alright, that's it though. Yeah. Ilia versus Islam. Ilia Ilia KO's Islam.